Greetings, Human Life Forums. I'm the Meister, and I'm joined by Thomas Bailey here, and we are back for the OT podcast
Yes,
yet again.
sir.
Welcome
First
back.
time on the show to start the actual season, so it's going to be a nice, fresh start here for the whole 18-week-long season.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it.
Football's back, baby.
I wish we started this sooner, like the beginning of last season, even though we didn't even know each other then. But
I mean, it kind of helps. Build the brand up near the end of the year and stuff like that. So I guess we have a little bit more following coming into second year term. So
yeah, this would be season 2 for us, I guess.
Yeah,
then, right?
Season 2. We'll call it that.
All right.
We have a fun little gimmick we'll show you guys in the next OT podcast.
Oh, yes.
So look forward to that.
Yes, very sneaky of what it's going to be.
Yes.
But without further ado, I don't feel like we should waste the people's time, and I feel like we should get right into the thick of it here. We got Thursday Night Football that's going to be coming on in 4 days?
4 more days. Thursday
Oh
the
boy.
6th.
It is the Ravens at the Chiefs, a rematch of the AFC Championship game, except this time it's in Kansas City, of course.
Right.
Defending Super Bowl champs against the AFC runner-ups. What are your thoughts on this matchup?
I think it's going to be a close game. I mean, at the end of the day, these are two teams that are very good. Lamar Jackson plays exceptionally well in the regular season. We all know that. So I think this will be a little bit better of a performance from him than, of course, the playoff game. I do think that the Chiefs pull it out, though. My final score, 24-17, Kansas City. I think it's going to be a very close game for the majority of it. I know that the Ravens are a very sneaky good team for the fact that they can just run the ball down your throat, and I think they're going to try to do that. But if the Chiefs can limit the running ability, which I think they can with Chris Jones and George Karlaftis, I think that the Chiefs are going to pull out a win.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat as you here.
And you kind of can't pick against the champs in week 1.
Yeah, you really can. The Chiefs did lose, as I think everyone knows, last year, week 1 against the Lions. But if that's going to happen 2 times in a row, I feel like that would be pretty sad if, you're a member of the Chiefs or whatnot.
Right.
So I feel like this is almost I wouldn't want to say a must-win, but it's definitely a game you really should win, even though it's against a great opponent like the Ravens are. But I think the Chiefs should be able to lock down the Ravens in the passing game. They showed it that they could do it.
There's really not too many great receivers on the Ravens. I mean, you got Flowers,
a lot of young
but outside
guys.
of him, you got a Bateman who's still yet to find himself. You lost Beckham in free agency to the Dolphins. There's a lot of question marks at 3 and 4 there.
Yeah, so I feel like the only chance the Ravens have is if they can run the football really well, and that's their golden joy is being able to run the ball really well. So
they got Henry, so
they do, but their offensive line did take a beating in the offseason, so we'll see how good the running can really be. But I'm also going to go the Chiefs here. I'm not going to give you guys a score prediction. I'm saving that for on my YouTube channel, Dio Meister. I do the little 3-minute slideshows, so I'll have the scores in there. It's a short 3-minute video if you guys want to check it out. It'll be on YouTube also with the video version
watch
of this
it.
too. Yes, watch it.
It's going to be fun.
I probably should have mentioned beforehand, too. We have the audio version on Spotify, and we have an actual video version on YouTube. So if you guys see us right now, thank you for watching on YouTube. There's also an audio version if you guys care to just listen to it. But we're going to move on to Sao Paulo in Brazil. We got the Packers versus the Eagles. 2 teams that a lot of people feel like have a good shot to win the NFC this year. Eagles, of course, they did kind of fall off a bit of a cliff at the end of last season. And the Packers were quite the opposite. They climbed up that mountain really fast at the end of the season, but ultimately, of course, they fell to the 49ers in the divisional round. But, these are 2 teams that are really looking to make a push in the NFC this year. The Eagles, they have a loaded offense. They got Saquon Barkley, add that to Jalen Hurts. I feel like that running game is going to be really, really good for the Eagles now, probably similar to the Ravens. I feel like if not even better, potentially.
Better O-line.
Better O-line as well, yeah. And better receivers, too. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. That is...
Just traded for
Dotson.
Dotson, I'm so sorry. But just traded for him as well. So, yeah, nice speedy guy for the underneath slot if you want to put Smith out wide again. There's a lot of really cool things for this game. I do like the Packers a lot, but it's so hard to pick against early season Eagles, especially these last few years, man. And I think they did everything they could. If I'm being honest, I'm kind of uninspired by the Packers offseason, considering where they were at. They were an Anders Carlson missed field goal away from potentially playing for the NFC Championship, and it's just a little confusing to me that they went out and they get a safety. They lose an lineman, but like they really didn't make a strong push like I thought they were going to at the beginning, which with an underwhelming offseason like that and seeing what all that they're doing on the opposite end here with the Eagles, I think that it's really important for the Eagles to start the season off right to show that we're back.
Yeah, and I feel like if the Eagles play anything like they did at the end of last season, the Packers are going to run away with this game, fairly quickly. But it's the thing that a lot of people are seeing. Like they're just looking at the rosters and seeing like all the changes that have been made, and it does favor the Eagles here. I'm also going to go with the Eagles, but I'm not going to be surprised whatsoever if the Packers come out here week 1 and come out with a win because they want to make a statement early, and this is definitely their best chance to do it in Brazil. But yeah, I also got the Eagles winning here.
27-24.
27-24. I like that. I like that, actually.
I think it's going to be really close.
But we're going to move on to the Sunday afternoon games, and we are going to be at one of them. We're going to be at the Bills-Cardinals game, but we'll get to that game in a little bit. I want to start off here with kind of maybe one of the games that not a lot of people are talking about going into week 1. Panthers at Saints.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm looking forward to this year. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're looking forward to it? You want to talk about it then?
The gritty matchups, man. If I'm being honest, though, I really think that these two teams are quite similar in a sense. I think that the Saints are a little bit behind in regard to a rebuild. I think the Saints are going to need one very soon here. I think that this might be the last season that they end up with Derek Carr and they just kind of blow it up after the season. I could totally see that. On the opposite side, though, they have Bryce Young, young quarterback. You got the quarterback whisperer over there, Dave Canales, who's now the head coach. Yeah. Transformed Geno Smith, brought back Baker Mayfield from the dead. So realistically, I think there's a chance that Bryce takes a step this year. But I think in week 1, there's a lot of growing pains that are going to happen. I think that the final score is 17-9. Saints get the W. I think it's going to be a very big defensive showing from both sides. I think Derek Carr struggles a lot. I think that realistically the Panthers can put away kind of string together a couple good drives, but they just can't finish those drives, and they're going to result in field goals. And I think it's going to be like one of those games where you see Bryce Young show flashes, like they make it to the red zone and just kind of falter at last minute, and it's going to be one of those games because it's early season, and I think the Saints end up with a close win, 17-9.
Yeah, again, I'm kind of on the same track as you. I also have the Saints winning this one.
Right.
But I feel like we saw a lot of flashes in what the Panthers could do in the preseason, but if you
care about preseason.
Yeah, if you care about preseason. But the big thing to take away from preseason is nothing.
For MVP.
Okay. But I never take anything for granted in the preseason because, like,
exactly.
A couple years ago, Kenny Pickett, he had one of the greatest preseasons probably of all time.
Yeah.
And he just...
Look at all the random guys that break out. Like, as a Bills fan, like, Blackshear we saw, third best running back on the Panthers when the season started.
Isaiah Hodgins
is actually a decent prodigy, though.
He is.
He turned into a
out
decent receiver for the Giants, but... See, that it's so few and far between that it's like at this point, I got to see it in the regular season to believe something because it's just how it goes.
Exactly. And with how much the Panthers have struggled, especially last season.
You got to prove it when it matters,
Yeah, exactly. You got to prove it. So it's kind of a wait and kind of got to prove it to me here, like week 1.
Put a pen in it, yeah.
Yeah, if they can take out like a division rival like the Saints, then I might start picking the Panthers to win some games. But for right now, I'm not going to pick in favor of the Panthers here anytime soon. So yeah, give me the Saints.
First division rivalry matchup, though.
Yes, first one of the season. As we move
Only
on.
one, I think.
No, I think there's a couple others in here. Texans Colts is one.
Oh yeah, and then Raiders and Chargers later.
Yeah, exactly.
My fault.
Next game we're gonna move on to here. Probably a lot more of a more anticipated game here. We got the Tennessee Titans traveling to Chicago to take on the off-season darling Chicago Bears. And I have watched a lot of NFL Network this offseason.
Hard Knocks.
Oh yeah, I watched Hard Knocks too. I'm still behind like 2 episodes. I still got to finish catching up. But yeah, I watched.
Slacking.
Yeah, you haven't watched any over here.
Yeah, I mean I don't watch it like that. But I ain't got time.
Yeah, I watched that one with playing the Bills and everything. It was cool to see the Bills Stadium at Hard Knocks. I'm like, oh my god, I've been there. And then just to see him destroy us was kind of not fun for like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
But at any rate, back to what I was saying for like NFL Network and stuff. Like I watched a lot of it in the offseason. Like the number one thing they keep talking about, like Kyle Brandt even like put this out there, but he's like,
Bears.
We got the face of the NFL and we got Patrick Mahomes. Like that's like, it almost gave me like a Nick Wright feel to it. Like sometimes. yeah, a lot of people picking the Bears to kind of go on a run. Maybe a lot of people picking them to go to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Some crazy people having them win in the division, which I don't see happening. But I think these are two really loaded rosters here. Like, people might just look at this game and go like, oh yeah, Bears, they got Caleb Williams, they got all these receivers, they got a great defense. But I feel like you can almost say the same thing for the Titans here too, because the Titans have made a lot of additions in the secondary. They got a lot of new pieces in the offense as well. But I am still going to pick the Bears here because even though, sure, both teams have like a lot of pieces and stuff, like, I feel like the Titans are going to take a little bit longer to mesh together because they also have a new head coach too. So it's a lot of new going around with the Titans. So if the Titans do have a good season, I feel like they're not really going to like get going until like a bit later in the season here. I feel like they're going to struggle a little bit early on. For the Bears side of things, I feel like that could happen too, but I feel like it's not going to be as dramatic as it may be with a team like the Titans. And plus, I mean, look at the two quarterbacks. I'd say two unproven quarterbacks in the NFL. I feel like you can agree with that. So, and looking at both the quarterbacks, I feel like Caleb Williams obviously has a lot more talent than Will Levis does. So I feel like it's safer to kind of go with the Bears here. They are at home too, so yeah, give me the Bears to win this one.
So I'm going to go with the Bears as well. 21-13 is my prediction here. I do think it ends up being a little bit close. I think that the Titans are going to have a couple really good drives. And the thing is I'm not too big on Will Levis. I think he's all right at the quarterback position, at least for right now. You got to see what you have in your quarterback, especially this early on into his career, being only a second-year quarterback this year. They surrounded him with a ton of talent, so this is a really big year for him. He understands that. I think he's going to have the jitters coming out. I think this is a very important game to start off the season. I mean, you're going up against the number 1 overall pick. You're going up against, like you said, the offseason darling, a team that's made so much change, that's changed for the better, though. And it's going to be a tough game for him to be able to do that. And so I'm going to go with the Bears in this one. I think it's going to be very close, though. I do think 21-13 is a fair score for this one. I just don't see the Titans' offense getting going really much at all in this game. I think that the Bears' offensive line is going to be the reason why it's only 21 for them. I think their line's still relatively unproven and young. I mean, you got a lot of guys like Tevin Jenkins, Darnell Wright, that still are finding what they are good at in the NFL. And that's going to make it very challenging for a team like them. Think of them like the Giants' offensive line a few years ago when they got Evan Neal and Andrew Thomas. I just think it's a little better than that, obviously. But, I mean, at the end of the day, I think that's what's going to end up happening. So, give me the Bears.
All right. So far, we're all picking the same teams right now.
Yeah, I know. Come on, man. Pick somebody else.
We're going to move over to New Jersey right now because we got a game with the Vikings and the Giants, another 1 o'clock game.
Ugh.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting game. I'll let you talk about this one first, since you seem a little disgruntled about this one.
I don't like it. I really don't think that either of these teams are going to be competitive this year. Looking back at the end of the season, I think this is going to be an important game in terms of who gets like 5 or 6 in the draft. I really think that the Giants aren't going to have a great season. I like the pick of Malik Neighbors. I thought they did great on the defensive side of the ball in the draft as well. But that secondary is still very young with Deonte Banks. He lost Xavier McKinney to the Green Bay Packers, so it's going to be a little bit nerve-wracking for that defense.
Lost Saquon Barkley, too.
Lost Saquon on the offense, yeah, which is obviously a big thing. And he was the entire offense last season. So seeing that Devin Singletary has now got to be that guy, as a Bills fan, I know that's not going to work. And so that's the thing is it's going to be a little bit rough for both of these teams. On the other side, of course, you got a pretty prolific offense outside of the quarterback, Sam Darnold. Very solid line. You got Jefferson and Addison. You got Hawkinson, of course. So there's a lot of different things that make that offense great. It's just I feel like Sam Darnold's going to hold him back. And I've been an advocate for Sam Darnold for a long time. It's just right now, with him not really seeing that many snaps in the preseason, assuming that it was going to be McCarthy all offseason long as the starting quarterback, and for him to go down like that, I think it's a really bad morale thing in the locker room right now, seeing that Darnold's week 1 starter. And it's going to rub off on Darnold, too. It happens all the time in the NFL where the backup comes in for a game, and you can kind of just see he either takes command of the offense and is really great, or he's really bad because the team's not rallying around him. And I think that's going to be the case in this one. I think Jefferson's voiced his opinion about the quarterback situation since Cousins has left from day 1. I think it's going to be a big turnoff for this team. And 14-10, the Giants win. I just think they have a little bit better of a defense. I think the defensive front's going to really ruin Sam Darnold's day. Kayvon Thibodeau, and then, of course, on the other side there, Dexter Lawrence. And then, of course, now the addition of Brian Burns, which
Brian
was
Burns.
great in the offseason. So that pass rush is going to be great. Bobby Okereke, a very good cover linebacker in the middle, probably gets going too. So I think that the Giants end up with a 14-10 win. An absolute barn burner. Back and forth.
An instant classic right here.
The punters of college are going to love this game. If you're an Iowa Hawkeyes fan in college, you're going to love this game. All they do is punt.
I loved pretty much everything you said about this game, but I feel like we need a couple different picks here. I'm going to go with the Vikings.
Yeah, there we go. I appreciate it.
I feel like looking at a game like this, you got two quarterbacks, Daniel Jones and Sam Darnold, obviously. Two guys that will have people kind of see as like busts more than like an actual like proven guy.
Right.
And I feel like what's really important in games like this is that you have a good running back. And the Vikings have Aaron Jones, and then the Giants have Devin Singletary. If the Giants were to have a guy like Saquon Barkley still on their team, I'd probably go with the Giants here. But
I would most
I
certainly.
feel like a running game really helps a team win in a game like this when both teams, I feel like kind of pretty similar teams, like they're both in similar situations.
Yeah, you're basically
right now.
making the case that I was making with the defenses.
Yeah.
Where I think the defense is the most important part, you know. And you're saying the running back. So, yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, and I feel like, of course, the running back takes a lot of pressure off quarterbacks like these two.
Of course.
So
the little dink and dunks like a screen or like a 5-yard like curl.
yeah, but then again, the Giants, like what I mentioned like earlier, like there's a lot of new going on with the Vikings compared to the Giants where they just added a couple guys. So I feel like there could be some like beginning like roughness here for the Vikings. And I feel like the Giants kind of already have had that system going for a couple of years now, so I could see it that way. The Giants could win that way because there's just a lot of new with the Vikings. But at the same time, you know, again, I don't want to be that guy to take anything away from preseason, but Daniel Jones still didn't show anything that looked like he would be better this year. So
but look like a Bo Nix, for example. Look at Bo Nix.
Oh, Bo Nix played great.
Yeah, exactly.
Played
so
like
it's like, do you think the Broncos are going to be insane?
Right. I mean,
you know, like.
You should be asking yourself that.
Yeah, I know. We'll get to
For
that
later
soon
on.
enough, but yeah.
Yeah, we're going to move on here. We got our next game, the final game for the Fox 1 o'clock window. It is the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Atlanta Falcons. This is a pretty like interesting game here. Two really, I would say, really solid teams overall across the board. Two teams with really, really good defenses. Offenses, I say, are in similar situations too. I'd say both offenses can run the ball. I feel like Najee Harris gets a lot of hate than he should have. Of course, the Falcons got Bijan Robinson too. Everyone loves Bijan Robinson. Two teams that have weapons, you know, offensively, receiving wise. I'd say the Falcons have a bit more. I mean, they got Drake London,
of course.
Kyle Pitts,
Darnell Mooney.
If
Rondale Moore was
playing, then certainly
then it would be better. But of course, with the injury,
Of course, yeah. But I was thinking, because right before I was picking this game, I talked to you before the pod. I was like, I'm gonna pick the Steelers because how good they are in Week 1, and so I just went to double check. I looked in their Week 1 games for the years prior. Last season they played the 49ers and got blown out 30-7.
Yep, I know.
At home. Yep. So I was like, are they really that good of a team in Week 1?
I think that's more showing how bad the Bills are in Week 1 some years. I feel like every
other year.
The
Bills are very up and down.
Every other year we crap the bed, and I've noticed a trend with the Bills because most of the games of Week 1 these last few years have been on my birthday. Like in 2019 against the Jets was on my birthday. The Rams game a few years ago was on my birthday. The 8th, which is, again, it's going to be on my birthday. So the thing is I kind of see the pattern. We would win and lose. And right now we just lost last year in Week 1 to the Jets. We're on track to win again this year. And it's back and forth. And it's been like this for now 7 seasons. So if we win Week 1 against the Cardinals, that'll be 8 years or 4 cycles of this happening in a row, which is a very long time if you guys aren't aware.
And that's something that probably only Bills fans will talk about.
Yeah, I know.
But I think I'm going to go with the Falcons in this game because, again, 2 new quarterbacks on both sides of the ball, but I feel like it also comes down to...
Which one do you trust more?
Yeah, exactly. Which one do you trust more? And I think it's
not prime time, so...
Yeah, it's also not prime time. Yeah. So Kirk Cousins checks all the boxes there for that game.
Is it 1 o'clock? Yep. Oh yeah, I'm good to go then.
Yeah, good to go.
Oh no, it's 7:30. It starts in an hour.
Oh god, it's dark out. Oh no.
Like, what's he think? It's like a childhood recital or something? Like his chorus meeting?
Gotta take out the phone and start recording.
Yeah, I know. His parents are in the ground like this, like looking at the phone.
So I'm guessing that means you also got the Falcons winning this game?
I do. I think this is going to be the second mistake of two for the Steelers. I think the first was picking Russell Wilson over Justin
100%
Fields.
agree with that.
I'm so sorry. Justin Fields is younger. You have more upside in a quarterback that's younger always. He has the scrambling ability that Russell Wilson once possessed that no longer he does. One thing about that is that's so huge is Russell Wilson's on a 1-year deal. He's only here for 1 year. Justin Fields you have for 2 years. I think it's important to know if you want Justin Fields back next season.
Right.
And that's a really big deal, especially with like the 5th-year options, all these things like that. It's going to be an important decision to make if you want to keep him around for that second year because he's going to get a significant pay increase. It's going to be from like $5 million to around $20 to $30 million next year. Do you want a player on your roster like that sitting on your bench? Because right now he is sitting on your bench. And if you don't know if he's going to be good or bad for your team, then there's no point in keeping him around. And so that's the thing is right now all the upsides in Fields' favor. If Fields is good, he's good. If he's bad, he's bad. It doesn't really matter. I mean, at the end of the day, you're a team that's right there in the middle of the pack. You're not expected to compete for Super Bowls this year. And with that being said, keeping Fields on the bench is just the worst thing you can do in this situation. I understand you want to get the most out of the offense, but I feel like the most out of the offense is going to be with Fields because it opens up the running game for a guy like Najee Harris, who struggled near the end of last year. It's going to make them wonder if it's going to be Fields or him running the ball, similar to a Lamar Jackson offense. He turned J.K. Dobbins into like an elite running back for like 5 weeks near the end of the season a few years ago. Like, you can do the same with a Najee Harris and then some because Najee's actually a decent running back. No offense, J.K. Dobbins, if you're watching this. but honestly, that's one thing. One really crucial thing, though, is the defensive side with Patrick Queen. I do think the defense is going to be very good in this game. 27-23 is what I end up predicting for the score. I think that the Falcons are going to get it done. I honestly, looking back at my score prediction, it might be a little bit higher than some games. Maybe like a 20-17 thing. I don't know. But at the end of the day, I'm going to go ahead and pick the Falcons to win this because there's just more consistency on their roster. I think that when you look at overall defenses, the Steelers' defense is better. But if you're looking at an overall team aspect, I think the Falcons make it.
All right. We're going to move on to the CBS 1 o'clock slate here. And the first game we're going to do, we got to do Cardinals-Bills. We got to get that game done and out of the way.
Ooh.
I wonder who you have winning this game here.
I mean, being that it's on my birthday, I'm going to pray to the Lords above.
And we're going to the game.
And we're going to the game. My first ever Bills game, by the way. First ever NFL game in general. So,
nice.
Very excited for that. It's 1 week away, which is crazy to think about. But
pumped.
We got the Bills and the Cardinals. And on a completely serious level, I think that this game is going to be a little higher scoring. I think the Cardinals defense is still very young, very getting used to like what they have and stuff. They got a guy named Max Melton who they drafted out of Rutgers. If Mateo's watching this, his favorite college team. But
shout out.
They got him and Garrett Williams, who's from my favorite school, Syracuse. So I think that with those two, those two guys, very unproven guys at the NFL level, I don't think that they're going to turn heads and be insane. And I think Josh Allen's going to have a really good day. Because of that, I think it's going to be hard for the linebacking core to keep up with him. They really don't have anybody there either. Oh, like a Zaven Collins maybe, but he still hasn't broken out. And then for the Bills side of things, Kyler Murray has been a problem in the past with the Bills. His running ability, especially in that Week 10 game a few years ago, he went nuts. And honestly, without Matt Milano, I think Trey McBride has a very good game. And Trey McBride was their offense last season. If you watched any Cardinals games, which hopefully you didn't have to, but if you did watch any Cardinals games last season, Trey McBride was the main reason they were so good at the end. And the thing is with him is there's no one to cover him now. Matt Milano's gone, our best cover linebacker. Terrell Bernard can certainly fill that role, but you're telling me that he's going to be there every single play like a Milano? No. I think McBride has a decent game in this one. I think that they get the receivers involved based off that when they eventually double-team McBride. I feel they're going to have to hem in Kyler Murray, and then that makes room for James Conner, who's going to be able to run the ball. What I'm saying is I think it's going to be a little higher scoring. 31-17, my prediction. Of course, Buffalo's my pick, obviously being a Bills fan. I understand the bias, but at the end of the day, I think it's very reasonable. Like, if you look at the Bills versus the Cardinals have been pretty mediocre for the last few years. And then you got the Bills, who have been insanely good for the last few years. So when you look at the variety, the difference of these two teams, one team's been so good for so long, one team's just finally starting to come out of the back end of their rebuild. I think that the Buffalo Bills are going to get it done.
All right, I'm going to agree with you here. I'm also going to go with the Buffalo Bills.
What?
Shocker.
No.
Yeah, I know, crazy. But looking at these two teams, the Cardinals, obviously Kyler Murray has not played a lot of football like the past year or so. Because last season, he was out for almost the entire season with a torn ACL until December.
Yeah,
or end
13, 14.
Yeah, something like that. So he hasn't played a whole lot in the past couple of years, but I do think it's going to be a closer game in the first half. I feel like Buffalo is going to be trying to figure out a lot of things in the first half.
Right.
Because obviously, a lot of teams in the league, there's a lot of new, but especially for the Bills, they have almost an entirely new receiving core.
New secondary for the
new
most
center.
part.
Yeah, I know you find center very valuable.
Well, I mean, he played center for us when Morse went down.
He did, but still, it's going to be a permanent thing.
Yeah.
And defense, a lot of new guys in defense too. So I think in the first half it's going to be very close, but I think by mid-third quarter, fourth quarter is going to be when Buffalo starts to pull away here. I think James Conner, is probably going to play. I think James Conner is probably going to play pretty well in the first half, especially.
Right.
So don't be surprised if the Cardinals hang around a little bit. But at the end of the day, I think the Bills are going to get it done in Buffalo. As we move on to their division rival, Miami Dolphins, hosting the Jacksonville Jaguars. This could also be a high-scoring game. Obviously, Dolphins, they had a historically good offense last year, if you don't count the playoffs. And the Jaguars, they played pretty well for the first half of the season, but similar to the Eagles, they kind of collapsed in the back half of the season.
Beginning, yeah.
And I feel like this is a game that the Dolphins are probably going to run away with. I think Tyreek Hill is probably going to have a really solid day. Per usual, they're going to be like, oh, look at this 40-yard touchdown pass, whatever, and it's going to piss me off. But I don't know how much I can really trust the Jaguars. I know, in the couple pods we did in the past, you were hyping up the Jaguars a lot and everything, and how you love Brian Thomas and everything.
Oh my gosh, I really wanted us to pick him so badly in the draft. He would have worked perfectly in what we're doing with Keon Coleman now. He would have been the deep threat.
Yeah. I feel like, though, Miami has a little bit too much firepower for Jacksonville to handle. And plus, Jacksonville, again, is another team that has, new weapons on offense. They have new stuff to work with. The Dolphins pretty much, especially in offense, have, the same team.
Right.
They got OBJ, but he's not even playing. He's out injured.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a very similar Dolphins team offensively than we've seen in the past. Defensively, I feel like it's going to be tough to kind of gauge the defense because you lost Christian Wilkins in the D-line, which hurts a lot.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of injuries still in the D-line, too, with Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb as well. But they did get Jordan Poyer, and us Bills fans know he's a really good safety.
The OT podcast fans should know, too. I mean, that was all
our, 5 fans, yes.
Yeah.
But I think the Dolphins are going to win this game. Jacksonville could battle a bit back and forth in the first half, maybe, but I think the Dolphins have this. I don't think there's a good chance Jacksonville wins this one.
I'm not even going to lie to you. I have struggled with this pick more than any of the other ones. And yes, you got bangers like the Chiefs, Ravens, Packers, Eagles, Rams, Lions, Jets, Niners. We'll get to those later. But this game right now, the Jacksonville Jaguars started the year off amazing last year. 8-3 to be exact. They were the number 1 seed going into the last little bit. Yeah, they were. And the thing is one thing that happened to them was their secondary kind of fell apart. Just like the Eagles secondary did. And I'm not saying they're going to pull an Eagles and go nuts like I think the Eagles will again this year. That's not what I'm saying at all. But if you look at the Dolphins defense here, if you look at the secondary specifically, who do they have outside of Jalen Ramsey, really? They don't have, one of their safeties, Javon Holland, is very good. But for the most part, he's a zone guy. I feel like the Jaguars are going to run a lot of, one-on-one balls, so basically a man coverage on the offensive side of the ball. I think it's going to be a very interesting game, is all I'm saying. I think this is going to be a shootout. I think this game's going back and forth, similar to their game with the Chargers last year. And I think that it's going to be 35-31 Dolphins win.
Woo!
I think this game's close.
It's going to be like Dolphins-Chargers of last year. Remember that game?
Yeah, it's I just said that.
Oh, really?
I did just say, I don't know if you knew that or...
No.
No. I can never tell. So anyway, I do think that this game is going to be super close. I was this close to picking Jacksonville. Instead, like a pass that Tua is going to throw later, it's going to be intercepted. But
Like a low pass.
Yeah, yeah, like underthrows Tyreek Hill 60 yards down.
Picked off by Taylor Rapp.
Because that's all they can do is underthrow it.
Dolphins fans are gonna hate us.
Yeah,
now.
yeah. throw a streak to Tyreek Hill. It's the whole offense. And Mike McDaniel. Oh my God, he's a genius.
It's extended through 2028.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, Dolphins fans like Brian, sorry, we're just kidding around. But at the end of the day, I do think the Miami Dolphins win this game. I think it's going to be very close though. So give me 35-31. But come back next week. If the Jaguars win, all I'm going to tell you is I told you so.
Ah, okay, just like the Titans, Dolphins. I see.
Last year.
I see.
Brian's already like, wow, he's already praying on our downfall.
No, he'd be like, I can see it. I can see it. No. But we're gonna move on. Next game. If any of you guys watch my YouTube channel, you would know or watched our playoff predictions that are on Dio Maestro YouTube channel. The Houston Texans. I have winning the Super Bowl this season. They're going into Indianapolis to face the Colts. Maybe a little bit bold, I know. But who do you think is going to win this game?
I picked Houston 28-17. I think Richardson's going to have a good season this year. I think it's a good bounce back for him after the injury in year one. Actually was injured in the Texans game. They played the Texans. So this will kind of like...
Revenge game?
Yeah, the beginning. He's going to come in John Wick style. But I think that he's going to be pretty good in this game. I think he's going to show some flashes. It's just that the rest of that Colts offense is kind of lackluster. There was a reason why they picked Adonai Mitchell. I think Josh Downs was the main focal point of that offense. Mo Alley Cox is certainly not wowing anybody there either. And Jonathan Taylor kind of lost a step at the end of last season after holding out. I think it could be very similar this year to start. I do like their offensive line. Their offensive line's been good for many years now. Quentin Nelson, Braden Smith, Will Freeze in the middle there as well. Bernard Raymond off the left tackle position. I think he'll be great in year number 3. But I do think that for the most part, the Colts are pretty lackluster in regard to a Houston team that we're seeing right now as another potential off-season darling with the Danielle Hunter signing.
Stephon Diggs.
The Stephon Diggs move, of course.
Joe Mixon.
Joe Mixon at running back. So there's a lot of different things you can make like an argument for the Texans. And like right now with that offense, you saw how good. Like look at a guy like Noah Brown. He ends up getting cut and stuff.
Because they have that many good receivers.
They just got that many good receivers. Noah Brown would probably be like number 2 on like the Panthers or something. Like it's like it's actually insane to think about.
Giants.
Or even the Giants, things like that. So. It's just very interesting to me to see that happen. I do think that it makes a lot of sense at the end of the day. So one thing that I can really say about the Texans is they started the year off a little shaky, so I could see a potential dropping this game. The Colts are normally good in week 1, but I'm going to go with my gut here. My gut's telling me Houston, 28-17, Texans get it done. Strouds, hook 'em.
All right, I am also going with the Houston Texans here. I feel like you brought up last year, like with them struggling early in the season. I mean, don't forget, C.J. Stroud was still a rookie last year. Like, sure, he had a great season, but again, he was still a rookie. No one was expecting him to do what he did.
But there's always that thing called the sophomore slump. Look at Baker Mayfield in 2019.
That's very true. But also when you look at the Colts, Anthony Richardson, again, similar to Kyler Murray, he barely played last year, and he was a rookie last year. Now he's entering his second year. Not a lot of football under his belt. Sure, he's like a big body guy. He's like almost every physical trait you want in a quarterback.
Like 6'5", 226.
Exactly. He can run also, which I'm sure he's going to be doing quite a bit of running in this game too, considering Danielle Hunter's on the other side.
They were making that joke about that's all he does is run at the training camps and stuff.
Oh, yeah?
They did like a joint practice, and they just like the opposing team was just saying, is that all he does is run? I'm so serious. You guys can look that up. It's interesting.
Yeah, might have to. Link is in the description.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously I'm picking the Texans. They're my Super Bowl pick this year. Their offense is loaded. Their defense is loaded.
Super Bowl pick, man.
I wanted to pick the Bills for the 5th year in a row, but I can't.
That's like bigger than Dan Campbell's at this point. That's all I'm gonna say. Bigger than Dan Campbell's.
I mean, we had a Super Bowl that was Rams-Bengals, so was it really? I mean, too bold. I mean,
yeah.
Just saying, just tossing it out there.
That was in his second year too.
There was.
Burrows. Ooh.
Yeah, conspiracy.
See?
Oh.
And he's in the AFC.
But yeah, we're moving.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. Next game, we got the New England Patriots at the Cincinnati Bengals.
All right, Bengals next.
Yeah, Patriots.
You said that's so sad. Patriots, like you're crying.
I need a second, man. Oof. Patriots do not have a lot going well for them right now. They got Drake May. He's probably the only thing that's going good for
He's
him.
not even gonna be the starter.
Yeah, he's riding the bench. Like, their team is so bad that they're protecting him with the bench.
Yeah, like please don't get injured.
But yeah, it's even in Cincinnati too, so the crowd's gonna be going wild. They got the whole group back together. Maybe Jamar Chase situation still hasn't been figured out, by the way, so that might be something to talk about.
Chase already said he wouldn't miss time though. He said he wouldn't miss games and stuff.
Brandon Ayuk said he was going to practice, and then he skipped out for a couple
That's
days.
Brandon Ayuk, bro. I believe Chase is what I'm saying. I believe that he won't be like that.
Yeah, this game is probably going to be a blowout, being realistic here. I mean,
I picked 31-10.
31-10.
Are you confident in Brissett to put up more than 10 points?
Oh, yeah, Jacoby Brissett. He was a great player as a rookie.
Low-key, he was really nice for like the Colts in 2017. They
he
almost made the playoffs.
2017?
Yeah.
In 2019?
It was 2017.
Oh, it could have been both years then. Because
2019
2019 was when Andrew Luck retired and Brissett played. I don't know if that's what you're thinking of.
No. I'm thinking 2017 because this is the year before they had him or whatever. Like he came back. I remember we played in the snow game against them that year in 2017.
Oh yeah. Wait, was it?
Yeah, it was him playing quarterback on that side. He ended up getting injured, and so did two of our quarterbacks. We ended up having a third string in.
I don't even remember. Was it? Yeah. It wasn't Peterman, was it?
Peterman played.
Yeah.
Peterman got injured too, and then they brought out some other guy, and we literally just kept handing it off to McCoy, and we won in overtime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish I could have saw that game live. That would have been so cool.
Oh, yeah, with all the snow. Anyway, we're getting sidetracked. I do think that the Bengals just clear here. It's Joe Burrow against the lackluster defensive secondary. I think outside of Christian Gonzalez and Jabril Peppers, I think they still have.
Jabril Peppers.
So I still think there'll be a decent pass defense this year. Matthew Judon leaving is really a big hit, though. Like, if you want to give one weakness to the Bengals, it's their line, and like now they have nobody to even exploit that weakness with. Like maybe Christian Barmore, but like
he has the blood clot, doesn't he, or is it someone else?
Who?
The guy in the Patriots. It's either Christian Barmore or someone else. They got blood clots and they're out indefinitely.
Oh no, I don't. It might be Barmore. I don't know. I haven't heard of it, but yeah. Basically, I think that the Bengals are gonna win this one very easily here. I think that maybe it's a little closer than 31-10, considering they did struggle severely in Week 1 last year.
They did, yeah. But Burrow was injured though too. I mean, at least that's what everyone says.
Well, he had a finger issue, man. Like you can't blame that too much, but still.
Yeah, we spent way too much time talking about that game than we should have.
Yeah.
But moving on, we got our afternoon CBS games at 4:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We got the Las Vegas Raiders. Against the LA Chargers, and I'm gonna start with you. Who do you think will win this matchup?
I pondered this one for a while, but I'm gonna go with the LA Chargers, 20-17. I think that the Raiders made so many good additions. If Tyree Wilson takes that step in year 2, that pass rush will be insane with Crosby, Wilkins, and him. I really like Divine Diablo as well, one of their linebackers there, and they pick up of Alex Highsmith. Chef's kiss to that. I mean, really great for them after losing with the Steelers and stuff like that for Patrick Queen. So I really like that. I think the one thing that's iffy for me is like the secondary. I didn't like the pick of Brock Bowers. Don't get me wrong. I love Brock Bowers. It's just they had every corner possible available to him. Terrion Arnold, Cooper DeJean, all of the whole 9 yards, and they ended up picking Brock Bowers, who they had Michael Mayer last year. They drafted Michael Mayer, the tight end out of Notre Dame, in the second round, and it's like 1 year, and it's like, oh, okay, let's just grab this guy. It's like, oh, well, that's awesome. But I really think it would have been smarter to take a cornerback, is what I'm saying. But again, the Raiders aren't exactly the greatest at picking in the draft.
Well, they don't have John Gruden anymore, so
Cleveland Farrell in 2019, 4th overall pick.
Oof.
Tough.
What was that other guy, that lineman?
Oh,
I forgot his name.
I know who you're talking about. Alex Leatherwood.
Oh, yeah.
Moving on, though, I do think that all draft decisions aside, I think the Raiders have a decent roster, but I ended up leaning with the team I think has the better quarterback, which is by a mile, Justin Herbert over Gardner Minshew. I like the stash Minshew, man, but
Justin
Herbert's so good, and I think that one thing with the Chargers is they're gonna get pressure a lot with Joey Bosa, with Khalil Mack. I think they get a lot of pressure in on Gardner Minshew, and that's one thing he has never handled well, even back to his Washington State days at college. He just can't handle the pressure well when it's like he has to make a throw in half a second, and I think that's going to be the problem here. So give me the Chargers to win this one. Close one, but 20-17. Harbaugh's first as a Chargers head coach.
Yes. I am also going to go with the Chargers winning this one as well. Again, I was
Come on, man.
I picked the Vikings, okay? I picked Sam Darnold.
I promise you we didn't do this on purpose.
Yeah, you guys have been seeing. I've been writing down your scores.
There's at least one more.
Oh, yes. We all know this one. It's a really stupid one.
Whoa.
Besides the case.
Hear me out.
Yeah, like you said, the Chargers have a way better quarterback than the Raiders do. Right. And it was really tough for me to pick, too, because I really wanted to pick, like, Antonio Pierce. Like, they were really good once Antonio Pierce was into the fold and everything, and they're going to be really fighting this season. But, I mean, I feel like you got to go Chargers. I feel like their offensive line's going to be better. I feel like since Jim Harbaugh, is it Jim Harbaugh or John Harbaugh?
It's Jim. John's Jim. The other one.
Yeah, Jim Harbaugh.
Ravens.
I think he's going to make the running game a bit better. They got like both of Ravens running backs.
You can already tell like his whole thing is that because they traded like Keenan Allen and stuff, got rid of Mike Williams. Like,
right, and I feel
you can tell he's just adopting his identity from college.
Yeah, and that may not even be the worst thing either, because a lot of people are going to be expecting more of the running plays to be happening, but that opens up play action.
Yeah, but if you look at Week 1 here. They're playing Max Crosby and Christian Wilkins up the middle.
Yeah,
how are you going to run the ball?
Test. Yeah.
How are you going to run the ball?
That means only play action.
Yeah, I know. Like, just like every play. It's 3rd and 10, play action. Like, oh, I thought you were going to run the ball on 3rd and 10.
Yeah.
You really got me there.
Me and Madden.
Yeah, I know, right?
But yeah, I get the Chargers winning this one. We're going to move on to the Broncos Seahawks in Seattle. This guy is a bold-ass pick, excuse my language. I'll let you talk about your bold pick here first.
I'm going Denver. And
he looks so good in the preseason, guys.
No. Bo Nix is going to be the starter, I think, at least in my opinion.
They already confirmed it.
So Bo Nix, he went nuts in the preseason, yes. That's not why I'm picking them, though. I think Bo Nix, even back to college, is just a quarterback that is halfway decent. He's not going to wow anybody with any special physical traits. Like, he's not insane at running. He's not insane at passing. He's just very decent quarterback. And that's what the Broncos have lacked for the last few years, is a decent, competent quarterback. A quarterback that's halfway decent. Look what they did with Drew Lock. Drew Lock's a very decent guy, and he went 4-1 when he started his career with them in his first 5 games. One of those was against the Seahawks as well, one of those wins. And so I'm not saying that's completely unrelated, but still. I do think that Bo Nix is going to start the season off well. I think that he fits perfectly into what they wanted. It was a perfect fit from day one. I really think that with Javonte Williams coming back, they can run the ball, really just use him as a game manager, and they have good receivers. They have guys like a Cortland Sutton and everything like that. That's a decent player that you can rely on. They have a decent passing game, and they have a very solid offensive line with the addition of Mike McGlinchey from the Niners. So because of that, I really think that they're going to be able to do a lot on offense. I think that their defense has taken a step up, especially after last season. Last season, the defense was the reason why they were still in games most of the time. And I think that with the Seahawks offense, Geno Smith fell off a cliff last year. He's going to be the starter again to start the season. So it's like, do you really trust Geno Smith that much more than Bo Nix at this point in his career where he really hasn't proven much? And it's like at this point, I'm wondering which one to go for. And if it's a toss-up like that, why not go a little while? Why not make the prediction video a little bit crazy? I'm going to go with the Denver Broncos in this one. And if this happens, man, just like and subscribe at that point. That's all I want. And it's 17-13 is my final score prediction. I don't think any offense goes nuts. I think it's going to be a more defensive battle. I think Smith has it near the end with a chance to get it done, and he just can't do it. And like I said with the Titans earlier, where they only scored 13, I think there's going to be a couple drives where Geno Smith gets them down the field pretty far, or Kenneth Walker, whatever, and they're going to falter right at the end, and they're going to have to kick the field goals. and it's going to happen early on. Watch, Denver's probably going to be losing around halftime, 13-10, 13-6, something like that. I think the second half is really where they turned it on last year. Would not be surprised if they come out with an upset, 17-13, Denver Broncos. Lock it in.
You know, just because I said that your pick was a bold-ass prediction, the Broncos are 100% winning now, but I'm still going to go with the Seattle Seahawks.
The Broncos are 100% winning.
Well, no, because it's week 1, so since I pointed it out, that's a bold prediction from you, that they're going to win. It's going to happen. But I'm still going to Seattle Seahawks. I'm going to stick in the realm of
reality.
Exact. Thank you. I still think the offense is going to be good. I don't know. Geno Smith, sure, he didn't play good at the end of last season, but
I think he's going to miss a few throws.
I think he still hasn't finished riding back yet. I think he still has.
Dave Canales is the reason why he became so good, I feel. And if you look at it, Dave Canales was there the year he breaks out. Dave Canales gets the job with the Bucs as the OC for Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield goes nuts, and now Geno Smith sucks again.
Yeah, so you think that's Young MVP?
You think that's a coincidence, though? I'm not saying MVP, anything crazy like that for Bryce Young, but I think he takes a step with Dave Canales. Dave Canales is kind of proven to be a quarterback whisperer of sorts. And while that doesn't work in all systems, who knows? It could not work with Bryce Young, but I know it worked with with Baker Mayfield, and I know it worked with Geno Smith. And without that now, Geno Smith is showing that he's kind of not doing too great. And I think that makes this one at least feasible to happen.
All right, but at any rate, I got the Seahawks, you got the Broncos. The second game we disagree on here today. Hopefully it's not the last.
There's only 4 more, so
yeah, we're going to move on to the Fox afternoon slate, 4:25. This is America's Game of the Week. Tom Brady on the call. It is Cowboys at Browns. I'll talk about this one first this time.
Yes, go for it.
Both these teams have really good defenses. Obviously, Browns were the best in the NFL last season.
Right.
Other than like the Ravens, they keep flipping back and forth. I feel like on that. Cowboys obviously do as well. I know, right? Cowboys, they should have Trayvon Diggs back, right?
Yeah,
to start
they do.
the season.
Same with Deron Bland.
So yeah, their defense is going to be back at full strength here to start the season.
Just got that bag.
And there's going to be no Nick Chubb, obviously, for Cleveland with his freak injury that he had. I still think the Browns are still going to have good running in this game because they always have been, with or without Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb just makes it that much better.
That's a mark of the O-line, really.
Right. And I don't even know what to think of the Cowboys running game. They have Ezekiel Elliott and Dalvin Cook. If this is 2017, this would be an elite running back room.
Yeah, I know, right?
But
we're living in 24.
It's a really tough game because you do have Deshaun Watson here playing too, and he's been the talk for like the past 4 years. Like, is Deshaun Watson going to play like how he did in Houston? We keep saying that every single year, it feels like. But like you mentioned earlier before we started the pod, I think, again, it's going to come down to the better quarterback, and the better quarterback here is Dak Prescott.
By a mile.
Unless,
and I hate the Cowboys.
Unless Deshaun Watson just comes out of nowhere and plays exactly how he did in Houston, and he just lights the field up.
Wait a minute, I'm smelling Browns.
You're smelling Browns? Well, you're sniffing something wrong. I was just saying.
He's talking him up like he's gonna pick them.
Yeah, I gotta hype up the dog pound a little bit, or Lake Erie Bros. You know. But yeah, I got the Cowboys winning this one. I'm not giving you guys a score again on something on YouTube. But yeah, who do you got?
27-13 Dallas. I think the Cowboys win this one pretty handily.
Ooh.
Like you said, no Nick Chubb and then Deshaun Watson. That's all you need to know about this offense in this game, really. You could have
Elijah Moore, Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah, exactly. You can have all those amazing receivers. If you don't have a quarterback that's going to get them the ball consistently, it does not matter.
I mean, they still made the playoffs with 5 different quarterbacks playing throughout the season. They
yes,
had a really good
that's
year,
a nod to Kevin Stefanski, though.
And he's still there.
Yeah, I do think Kevin Stefanski will do all right. But if you notice, those 5 quarterbacks, of all 5 of those quarterbacks, which one played the worst? Deshaun freaking Watson.
Best record, though, too. Well, if you take out Joe Flacco.
Yeah, but
because Watson was 5-1 last season.
Yeah,
right?
but if you look at it, though, I really just don't see them winning this one. I think the Cowboys, well, they've kind of not, like, all in Jerry Jones, you know, like, they didn't do that. Like, he said he was going to go all in, but
got a long
still, yeah, I mean, you got Dak Prescott, you have Micah Parsons, you have DeMarcus Lawrence, Deron Bland, Trayvon Diggs. That defense is going to be insane. And when you pair that with a pretty bad offense in my eyes, I think that's going to make for hell on wheels in this game. They're going to score only 10, 13 points. I wouldn't even be surprised if it's like single digits. in this
Wow.
game, like 7 or like 9 3-field
That
goals.
I do not see it.
I could see it happening because of just how bad the Browns' offense is probably going to be without Nick Chubb. I really do think that the running game is going to be the only saving grace, and unless Jerome Ford's going like 200 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Look at that against the Steelers. That
Yeah, I know, right? Like, I don't
What was
see
that
the
game on
Browns
NFL
winning.
Network? Or
Yeah, it
something?
was. But unless that happens again in some crazy miracle, then I don't see it being a win for them. I do think Dak's by far the better quarterback, so give me the Cowboys here, 27-13.
All right, we're gonna move on here to the next game. The other Fox 425 game. This one in Tampa Bay is the Buccaneers host to the Washington Commanders and number 2 overall pick Jaden Daniels.
Ugh.
I'm stiff with Commanders over there.
No, number 2 overall pick, Jaden Daniels, just doesn't sit right with me. It should have been Drake May.
Oh yeah, he's
Really.
still pissed about that. Like
It
5 months
really-
later, by
yeah,
the way.
it still should have been Drake May. But all that aside, Buccaneers winning 24-17 is my prediction. I think that this game's going to be very close for the majority. I think that Jaden Daniels has a solid debut, probably a rushing touchdown somewhere sprinkled in there for him, maybe the passing touchdown, who knows. But I do think that the Buccaneers are going to get the job done. I think these two teams are very new in regard to what they did this offseason. You see a lot on the Buccaneers side where they lost guys like Carlton Davis and Sean Murphy-Bunting. They don't have some of that defensive prowess in the secondary anymore. So that'll be interesting to see how Jaden Daniels exploits that, especially with a receiver like Terry McLaurin. And I would say Jahan Dotson, but I don't know what the hell they're doing. They just traded him.
They're tanking already.
Yeah, I know. They're already like, oh, yeah. This
Tank
isn't-
for Tua.
Yeah, this isn't going to work. Just gets rid of him. But I do think that they'll be all right. I think they'll have a decent season. It's just I think they're going to start with an L here. Buccaneers. Baker Mayfield's going to have a solid season, I think, again. And while Dave Canales is not there, I do think that there's still a shot that he can, continue his comeback arc in Tampa Bay. I do think that the Buccaneers defense is going to be the reason why I'm iffy about picking them. But I think the same thing about the Commanders. I feel like I'd be iffy on that side too, if picking them with their defense. So we'll see how it goes. I'm going to go Bucks 24-17, locking that one in.
All right. I also got the Buccaneers winning this one. You mentioned newness. I think the Commanders have a lot more going on.
Oh,
than
yeah,
Tampa Bay does
exactly.
by far. New head coach, new quarterback,
New
running
offensive
back.
line.
Yeah, Austin Eckler. Then you got
They
Bobby
got
Wagner.
Who'd they get in the secondary? Oh, they lost Cameron Curl, their safety.
They lost
there.
Cameron Crowe. Yeah.
Yeah, to the Rams, which I really wanted us to get him so
So yeah,
bad.
then the Bucks lost some guys like you mentioned on defense too, but the offense
Yeah.
is going to be pretty much the same. Same weapons, same quarterback, same running back. It's going to
Not
be
same weapons.
Huh?
No more Dotson.
well, no, I'm talking about the Bucks.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they really didn't change much of anything.
Yeah, exactly. So
They signed a second running back, I think, right? It's not just Rashad White anymore. There's some other guy now. But Rashad White's still the starter, so that's still kind of irrelevant.
yeah, I know. But I think the Buccaneers are going to be a lot more prepared for this game than the Commanders are going to be. So
Right.
I got the Bucks winning this one. Now we're going to move on.
Another one we are the same on. We only have 2 left. Come on.
Yeah.
Pick the Jets over the Niners.
Rams at Lions on Sunday Night Football, a rematch of the NFC wildcard game from a season ago where the Lions won and advanced to the divisional round for the first time in 30-plus years.
Almost at the Super Bowl.
Almost.
Just like the Bengals almost pulled in the exact same thing as the Bengals did.
Oh, yeah?
Right.
True.
Won a playoff game and then just took that and rode it all the way to the Super Bowl.
I mean, we did that too.
No,
Well, I mean, we lost
We went
the
to
wild
the
card and then we
championship. We went to the championship game and then,
Yeah, we're not going to talk
Because it
about
was
that
the-
anymore.
yeah, it was the Colts and then the Ravens game.
Yeah, who do you have winning this game here?
I have the Lions 27-23. I'm hoping you have the Rams, and I highly doubt that now. But, I mean, I really do think that the Lions are just the better team here. While I like Stafford a lot, and he's grown on me over the offseason after you completely telling me he's like a top 10 quarterback, top 7 quarterback all the time.
I still believe that.
I think that he is definitely a good quarterback. I really do. But there's so many good quarterbacks in the game today. Who knows?
Jared Goff.
Yeah, no. I like Stafford over Goff. I'll give them the edge over Goff. If they had Stafford still, I think the Lions would have won against the Niners. That's a hot take, but I think they would have beat the Niners in the
Oh, yeah,
NFC
division
Championship.
rival. It's a lot different that way,
Yeah,
too.
but I think that at the end of the day, I'm going to go with the 49ers and Lions in these last two. But I'm going to go with the Lions. We'll get to that last one in a minute. But the Lions win at 27-23. It's going to be closer than a lot of people expect. I think there's going to be people that think the Lions run away, and I don't think that. And kind of like what Owen said with the Texans, I mean, the Lions are my Super Bowl prediction for the NFC. So I do have to kind of have them beating other NFC teams. That's kind of how that works.
Really, that's crazy.
I'm going to have them winning this one 27-23. Kind of just proving that nothing's changed with the Lions. I think they're going to be another deep playoff contender again this year.
I think they can be even better than they were last year.
Exactly. Look at the additions in the secondary.
And look at DJ Reader, too.
Oh, yeah, the
yeah,
tackle.
Didn't even mention that. The Rams got Kyron Williams as like young, explosive running back, and the Lions like, well, we got him week 1. Let's just sign one of the biggest defensive tackles in the league, DJ Reader, who's amazing at stopping the run. If you didn't know
they
that
signed
already.
him specifically for this game.
He's going to be riding the bench the rest of the
Yeah,
season.
he's only playing this game, and then
for
he's
the Rams.
just like,
yeah, that's it.
they anticipate an ACL tear. So, like,
yeah, I'll just rest him now for the playoffs.
yeah, literally.
But yeah, I got the Lions winning this one. Very like similar teams. I think the Rams did get a bit better on defense. They did lose Aaron Donald.
Yeah.
So it's
but they did get Braden.
It's
they
similar
got
to the
Braden
Dolphins
Fisk.
defense.
They got Braden Fisk and Jared Verse though in the draft, so I like
They
that.
did, two young guys.
Teammates at Florida State too. So
Yes,
they kind
look
of
at
got
that.
the chemistry already. So
right.
but
But
even with that though, it's like, how do you pick them?
I don't see the Rams coming out on top here. The defense is a little too iffy for me. Offense I think is good, but the defense is what really scares me and what definitely leans me to Lions in this one.
Yeah, we're definitely not gonna have another one we disagree on. There's no way you're picking the Jets. There's just no way.
Yeah.
Division rival playing the 49ers.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, go ahead.
We might be able to get this under an hour. We're pretty close.
Start it
We
out
got 4
then.
minutes.
Go.
Jets at 49ers, Monday Night Football, ESPN, 8:15. Joe Buck and Troy Aikman on the call. I got the San Francisco 49ers winning. I'm not going to pick the Jets winning. Aaron Rodgers has played 4 snaps in like 2 years. I'm sure he won back-to-back MVPs, but who cares? He's 41 years old. The 49ers are pretty much the same team they have been the past couple
Pretty
years.
much the same number as his age.
But yeah, their defense is still great. The offense should still be great. Brock Purdy should still be a really good. The Jets, their defense, should still be good, if not better. Who knows what's happening with Hassan Reddick? That's kind of a question mark.
Yeah, that's a big question mark.
Offensively,
he did say he would hold out too.
Offensively, we're gonna see how Aaron Rodgers looks. You could say he's gonna look great. You could be right. He could look like absolute garbage. It's week 1. He hasn't played in forever. Didn't even touch the field in the preseason, so there could be a lot of rust there too.
That shows confidence too, which is interesting. So
Also
I'm
shows
really
confidence.
looking forward to
Yeah.
this game. Yeah,
It's gonna be a great game.
two very good teams.
I requested off of work specifically for this game, so it better be a good game. But yeah, I got the Niners winning this one on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, we're going to round it out with my pick. The 49ers also winning 21-16 is my final score prediction for this one. I think it's a lot lower scoring. These are two very, very good defenses. I expect them to both be in the top 10 of this year's season rankings at the end of it. I think that the Jets did make a lot of really good additions this offseason. I loved the move for Hassan Reddick if he actually stays and signs long term. On the Niners side of things, nothing really changes. Honestly, the same old, 49ers defense is going to be in your face and physical. They're going to have Fred Warner there manning the middle as a very great cover linebacker, best in the league in my honest opinion. You got Nick Bosa on the defensive line, of course. Javon Hargrave getting back into things after his injury near the end of the year. Dre Greenlaw will be back, I believe, for week 1. And so with all those things coming and being into this, I think it's going to be a close game. It's going to come down to who I trust more on offense, which offense I trust more. And I'm honestly going to lean with the 49ers. And it's going to be because of that offensive line. That offensive line, yes, the Jets upgraded in the offseason, no doubt about it. It's just how well are they going to mesh in week 1? That's the hardest position by far to mesh with in week 1 is your teammates. Because it's like, if one of those 5 guys is even not that great, then we got problems, And so we'll see how it goes. I think that this game is going to be very close. I'm excited. It's going to cap off what should be an amazing week 1 of the NFL season. Football's finally back. And 21-16, I have the 49ers closing things
low scoring.
out.
I can see that. But yeah, I appreciate all of you guys that stuck to the end. I appreciate you guys all for watching. If you listen to us over on Spotify, a follow would be appreciated. If you're watching us over on YouTube, hello, like and subscribe would be greatly appreciated. I'll leave my Twitter link in the description. I'll leave all that fun stuff. If you want to plug anything like Buffalo Sports Insider, school newspaper, whatever.
Yeah. Join all
Buffalo
that
State.
stuff. Yeah. You guys will enjoy it.
Very fun stuff, but I want to keep this under an hour, which would be an amazing accomplishment. But I hope you guys all enjoy the rest of your week. And as I say, life forms out.